Diplomacy and diplomatic moves. U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is likely to visit India later this month. If America's tough statements on Pakistan in recent months were music to New Delhi's ears, the fact is that Mr. Tillerson may go clubbing again. That's right. The Secretary of State may resort to an old habit adopted by most Western high-profile visitors. Senior Foreign Editor Padma Rao explains.
If most US Secretaries of State hyphenated India and Pakistan since independence right up to 1989, there was a plausible reason. India had been allied to the Soviet bloc, whereas Pakistan was a US ally. But India began liberalizing its economy by introducing market reforms in the early 90s, and since the end of the Cold War in 1991, also changing its global alliances. So let's take a look at how the United States has been clubbing in the subcontinent. First, between 1989 and 2001. Secretary of State James Baker, who was in office from 1989 to 1992, never came to India. Secretary of State Warren Christopher, 93 to 97, didn't come to India either. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright, who was in office from 97 to 2001, came to India and Pakistan in 1997, and even India, Pakistan and Bangladesh in 2000. There was another turning point, the devastating attack on 9/11/2001. This was the beginning of the trails of many acts of international terrorism, somehow all leading back to Pakistan. Perhaps because of 9/11, the US's focus on Pakistan intensified, but always in tandem with visits to India. How did they club in the subcontinent between 2001 and 2009? Well, the Secretary of State, Colin Powell, who was in power from 2001 to 2005, visited India and Pakistan in 2001, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Nepal in 2002, India and Pakistan again in 2002, and India, Afghanistan and Pakistan in 2004. The Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, who was in office from 2005 to 2009, did it again. She visited both countries in 2005, India and Pakistan yet again in 2006, India alone in 2008, and the two countries again in 2008. On a May Day in 2011, terrorist Osama bin Laden was traced to the heart of a high-security Pakistani cantonment and killed by US Navy SEALs. In other words, in the protection of the very Pakistan army that the United States had been nurturing, training and arming to assist in its hunt for the world's most wanted man who had masterminded 9/11 but also a series of other terror attacks around the world. Yet, and as far as the US visitors went, India and Pakistan were merely quarrelsome twins, both irresponsible nuclear states and needed always to be engaged in one go. Given the many trails that led back to a hardline government in Dhaka, Bangladesh was included too, but as the third sibling on the subcontinent. And finally, how did the United States go clubbing in the subcontinent between 2009 and 2017? Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was in office between 2009 and 2013. She visited India in 2009 and India and Bangladesh in 2012. Surprisingly, stayed away from Pakistan. John Kerry, who was in office from 2013 to 17, came to India in 2013, India and Afghanistan in 2014, India and Pakistan in 2015, and India, Bangladesh and China too in 2016.